guys, it's Jenny here. Welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be the start of my first hopefully fall reading vlog. That's what I'm intending this to be. We'll see if I actually go through with it. But if I did indeed post the last video, you may have seen this jar that I went ahead and filled with a bunch of spooky themed books, fall themed reads that I just think would get me in the mood for fall the most. So I had my boyfriend pick one book from the jar and then I picked one. So I have two books here that I'm going to be putting my main focus on first, and then I'm going to be adding a couple more titles to the jar as well, now that I have kind of like cleaned my room up a bit and I have more access to my shelves. I've seen a couple more titles that I want to add to the jar. First up is Nick's pick. He chose from the jar. It was The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. And this is a YA thriller, I believe. It says, when Springville residents, at least the ones still alive, are questioned about what happened on prom night, they all have the same explanation. Maddie did it. An outcast at her small-town Georgia high school, Madison, Washington, has always been a teasing target for bullies, and she's dealt with it because she has more pressing problems to manage, until the morning a surprise rainstorm reveals her most closely kept secret. Maddie is biracial. She has been passing for white her entire life at the behest of her fanatical white father, Thomas Washington. After a viral bullying video pulls back the curtain on Springville High's racist roots, the student leaders come up with a plan to change their image, host the school's first integrated prom as a show of unity. The popular white class president convinces her black superstar quarterback boyfriend to ask Maddie to be his date, leaving Maddie wondering if it's possible to have a normal life, but some of her classmates aren't done with her just yet. And what they don't know is that Maddie still has another secret, one that will cost them all their lives. Okay. So that's not totally what I thought that this was about, but okay. That's the first pick. And then I went ahead and chose one too, just because I like to have options and I like to carry more than one on me at a time. And I ended up picking out one of the only rereads I had in the jar right now. It definitely fits the season. I pulled Scream for Us by Molly Doyle out of the jar. Again, this is going to be a reread. It's a perfect reread too because it's super short, and I have the continuation book on my Spooky TBR as well. Those are the books that I have with me currently. And yeah, like I said, later on when I get back, I'm probably going to be writing down some more titles to put in the jar. Figured I would show you guys what is first on the list, first pulls from the jar. And yeah, I will see you next time when I have a reading update. It is currently 10:08 a.m. on Tuesday, September 24th. So I do have a reading update for you guys, but first I am going to take out my hair. I figured I would sit and chat with you guys for a moment. So, hi, it's been a while. Has it been like a couple years or 1 year? I don't know. Time is an illusion to me. But yeah, a lot has happened, and as much as I would love to give you guys all the lore, I need to be a little bit mysterious. I don't really want to get into sharing everything, but it's been a time. A lot of good, a lot of not so good, but we're still here. I start a new job later. Long story short, I did have a job earlier in the year, but I was a part-time manager at this job, and the company went bankrupt because of a very corrupt CEO. If any of you know the company by now, hit the buzzer. But yes, we went bankrupt because of a very corrupt CEO, and I lost my job with little to no notice. And because of how terribly they paid us there, I could not even qualify for unemployment once I lost my job. It was a whole thing. And now this company has completely reopened back up and rebranded themselves under the slogan, "New crew, new Rue, new you." After putting all of us out of jobs. They fired all of our higher-ups with like little to no notice over like a pre-recorded voice call. So all of our like district managers, they fired everybody that we answered to first, and then we were all stuck closing out the stores by ourselves the last couple months without any of our store managers, district managers. It was a whole thing. And I went through a lot in that time. I can't get into the nitty-gritty just because, yeah, but at least my hair turned out for work. Meow. You want to see the people? Look at how big Nan is. She's a full adult cat now. 4 years old. Wait, didn't you turn 5 this year? Nan did turn 5 this year, guys. You should tell your baby sister and your cousin to come in here. I have 5 cats in the house right now. You guys know about 3 of them. But I also picked up a kitten on the side of the road a couple weeks ago. Either at the end of July or in August, but I picked Tansy up, and then I ended up getting my brother's cat to foster like a week after, while they're in college. He and his wife can't take her as an emotional support cat until next year. She has to be a year old. So I'm fostering her until they can take her home with them. I don't even, with how I am with timelines, I can't even tell you guys what the last book I read was before the one I'm about to show you. But I did read since I've been off of YouTube. It's just been very sporadic. Like, we're talking, I'll read like a handful of books 1 month, and then like you will not catch me reading again for the whole rest of the year. Or it's just been very random. But I've been wanting to get back into reading again really, really badly. So yesterday I finally kind of awoken out of my haze of doom, and I got my whole barn cleaned, and then I came in and I was watching some Bailey Sarian and doing some diamond art, and then after that I kept watching Bailey Sarian while I put in my heatless curls, and then after that I was like, I started watching some old booktube videos that I had saved in my in my watch later list, and I was like, you know what, why don't I do a 30-minute reading sprint before bed? Like, it's not that late. I got everything done that I wanted to, and then some. Why not, you know? So I did, and I ended up finishing a poetry collection in one sitting. So the book that I did finish was My Father's Eyes, My Mother's Rage by Rose Brick. This was very good, very relatable in some aspects. I will have to say I don't feel like I could fully speak on this book because I did skip some of the passages that like just didn't really resonate with me. Like, there's some that cover like DV, and then they also cover grief, and those just don't personally resonate with me, so I skipped them just because, you know, it's one of those things where I didn't want to read something that was going to put me into a bad mood I can't speak on. So I skimmed it, but personally, still, based on the sections that I did not skim, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. I really liked the sections that I did read. I had seen a lot of her work on social media as those poems that they share, and this has been on my list for a while, so I'm glad I finally got around to it. The pick that he chose, I'm going to be listening to on audio. This was his poll. I am going to be listening to this one on audio. Scribd rebranded themselves. They're called like Everand now. I am so drastically, diabolically out of the booktube loop, so I'm gonna need your guys' help. Like, you guys have got to let me know like what is what around here now. If you don't think like she can't be that out of the loop, I literally know nothing since I have left BookTube. That's how out of the loop I am. Like, I know of a handful of recent releases, and most of them I've probably already bought for myself if I was really that intrigued by them. But literally, like, other than that, I don't know what's good reading wise nowadays. I don't know what everybody's talking about, what everybody's into, so help a girl out. I figured that would be a good audio. And one thing I want to do this vlog at some point is, or a vlog some point, I want to go to my local library and get a library card. I do not have a library card for this city yet, and I've lived here for how long? So I think that's definitely going to help me right now, especially getting back into BookTube, because I do not have money for like recent releases, but I want to be involved in recent releases. Library is the solution. All of these are in the jar, I just don't have the slips out, so like if I accidentally pull them later on, I'll just have to like skip them. But like, you know me, I can't function if I don't have options, so I had to have more than just what we pulled out of the jar, obviously, so that's how I finished that poetry collection. My other physical option is Supernatural Witches Canyon by Jeff Marriott. This is the second book in the TV tie-in series. I actually think these are pretty fun. For one, you guys know I usually hate mass market paperbacks, but when they're the Supernatural books, I don't mind it that much because I think they're cute. And I love how the colored spines look on my bookshelves, because it's just like, you really notice them because they're so tiny and vibrant, and yeah, they just look great. And another reason I like these is that they're not like, it honestly just feels like a part of the show, because it's like, you ever wonder what happens in between episodes and like what goes by in that time, and it's like, that's how they treat these books, is it's like, this is what happened in between this episode and this episode. That's how they set up the first book. They literally had that in the intro. It was like, this book is set in between this episode and this episode in this season. And I really liked that. This one doesn't have it, so I kind of just have to speculate, but they're still fun. This is what this one says. My second audio option is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I have been wanting to read this for quite some time, hadn't gotten around to it. Water damage. No. Anyway, here is the synopsis for that. I have some old footage. I'm not sure what to even post and what to not post. I guess it'll solely be determined on if I actually finish any of the rest of these books, or if this vlog goes anywhere, because I don't like want to publish the TBR jar video if I never actually end up finishing most of the books from that jar. But yeah, I have a therapy call at 11, and then I start my new job at 3, and I'm a little freaked out, but I'm excited. I need to get out of the house, and I need to start making moolah so I can permanently get out of the house. But I miss you guys so much. I wanted to say, I have seen your guys' comments on my videos throughout the time that I've been off, and I really appreciate all of the love and support. I've seen your guys' messages in my Goodreads and on my comments, and I just want to say hi. I appreciate you. I acknowledge that you guys were reaching out, and I appreciate that. YouTube, honestly, because I don't really know how to go about why I left. Like, personally, I just felt, I think it was like a camera thing, and it was also just like a life thing. It was hard for me to balance YouTube and life, and it started to become more of a chore than a hobby, and I was just also in a very low period of self-confidence, which makes it hard to post content of yourself. So yeah, and I'm still working through that. That's why I don't know if you guys are even gonna see these videos. You haven't seen any of them yet, so who's to say you'll see this one, you know? I always film them like you're gonna see them, and then you never do. I never post them. Like, why? I don't know. But yeah, here I am. Thank you guys for reaching out. I hope that this reading vlog goes somewhere, but I'm a little nervous at the same time. We'll see. I will check in later. Hello, y'all. So it is currently 11:37 on Wednesday, September 25th. So I started work yesterday. It went well. I was just pretty tired, so I didn't end up reading anything yesterday. After I started the vlog, I finished the poetry collection. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired. I almost didn't film this update. And then today when I got home, I did a diamond art section, and I started my audiobook. And the book that I started on audio is The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is the one that my boyfriend pulled out of my Spooky TBR jar. So far, it's pretty good. I made it to part 2, roughly page 100, 101, however you want to call it. Page 103, technically. It's definitely different than I thought. So, Tiffany D. Jackson does typically write racial books, which she always writes very well, but one thing I was not expecting in this story is for it to have like a supernatural power element to it, almost. I suppose if I had reread the synopsis, I probably would have been able to hint at that, but I was like, this is kind of weird. I mean, I guess we'll see as I get into it, but so far it's pretty good. I'm honestly like, part of me is almost a little bit I'm kind of very offended at how blatantly racist the kids are in this book. I'm like, wow. Like, wow. Okay. Like, I'm pretty offended. So, yeah, that is going well so far. I'm stupid tired though, so I am going to get to sleep, but tomorrow I'm off. I don't work again until Sunday, so I will probably be listening to that when I get my housework done tomorrow. And it'd be really cool if I could finish that tomorrow, because I'll have like a decent chunk of the day, if not the whole day, to listen to it while I get things done, and then later on I can finish it while I'm working on my diamond art. That's a current update, and those are my goals for tomorrow. I think we'll just kind of pick up vlogging from here, because I don't really feel like dwelling on the past. And if you guys are super interested on any of the books I possibly could have read while I was off of booktube, I can pull up my Goodreads one day and just do a video that way, or like do a video on if I still owned the physical copies of the books and just do it that way. Let me know. But most of the vlog footage is either already scrapped or is on its way to being scrapped, because I can't stand editing my footage anymore. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my plan for tomorrow. I need to go to bed, like right now. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Hello guys, so it is currently, I just looked at the time. It's currently 1:30 now on Friday, September 27th. Technically it's like Thursday night though, you know. So I have a reading update, but I finished my tiny little diamond art while I was doing it. So we got a little mushroom mosaic moment. And I also went ahead and prepped a new diamond art, and of course, since we're doing a spooky themed reading, of course I had to pull my spooky diamond art. So you'll have to excuse the Sharpie because I already marked out the grids, but perfect for spookies. I will probably be starting this one tomorrow. But in terms of reading, the main reading update I know you guys are looking for is I did actually just finish the audio for The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. Holy cow, this book. At no point did I know where this was fully going. Anytime I thought, okay, I know what's gonna happen, it just kept going from there. And the best way I can really describe the energy this is kind of giving like Carrie meets Stranger Things meets Scarlet Witch almost. I don't know. This was very interesting. The audio for this was really good. I really enjoyed all the different narrators. I enjoyed the way that they did phone calls, that they did the podcast. I thought that made this so enjoyable to listen to. I can't even begin. I was so enraptured. I still like don't fully know how to talk about this book. At first I was offended by the amount of racism that was happening, and then I realized that was the entire point. Like, that's literally the entire point, you know? It's rage bait to the point where you begin to understand the outcome. And I don't know, this was pretty good. Like, it really makes you think, and honestly, for a YA slasher, this kind of hit. Like, I'm pretty impressed by this. I have loved Tiffany D. Jackson's stuff before. Everything I've read by her, I have loved. But yeah, this was an entertaining read. It could definitely be gory at parts. It was very... Okay, one thing I did not like, I will say, I cannot stand a cheating trope. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. No. So that was the big thing that I really started to not stand about the ending of this, or I guess the middle to end of this, was the fucking cheating trope that came into play. And it was like 0 to 100 so fast. Like, calm down. Okay? Calm down. And if it's that deep, just set your shit straight, okay? Like, whoa. So for rating, I think I'd probably give this about a 4. I thought about rating it a little higher, but like, I think I'm probably gonna set it like a 4. Just because of like, again, the cheating trope, but also kind of just like how it played out at the end. All of the people that you thought were gonna get their dues did not. I mean, not to the fullest extent, and none of them learned their lesson. So it's like, okay, anyway. So this was a success, though. Not mad about that. And while I was at my boyfriend's earlier, I read a smidgen of this, not a whole lot at all. I started Supernatural Witches Canyon by Jeff Marriott. I was going to do a 30-minute reading slump tonight. 30-minute reading slump. 30-minute reading sprint. But I don't know if I'm awake enough for that, because I wasn't expecting it to take me that long to finish the audio of that. But I was really into it, so I didn't want to like skim over anything in the audio. So hang on, let me give you I am on chapter 2, page 16 of this. I know, so impressive, right? At first I was kind of impressed at how much this author could get into Sam and Dean's heads. and like act like them. But then I kind of realized that this author was taking a lot more of a different approach to their relationship than the last one. Like, I definitely felt that way about the last one, but this one, it really feels like that intense Sam and Dean tension, like when they were fighting. And it's like, whoa. It's like preying on any inner monologue they could possibly have. Good night. I will see you guys later. Hello. So it is currently 9:48 a.m. on Sunday, September 29th. So I've been gone for a couple days. Unfortunately, I was pretty sick not yesterday, but the day before. I felt terrible. And as much as I've been wanting to implement more of my day-to-day hobbies, instead of, TikTok doom scrolling or, rewatching the same show over and over and over again. However, when I was sick, I could not get out of my TikTok loop. I didn't have energy to do anything at all. So, yeah, unfortunately, I wanted to read more today. I just read a little bit this morning since I've woken up, but I wanted to read physically a little bit more, but I have to work today, and there's some things I have to get done before work, so I think I'm unfortunately out of time for the day. Oh, Tanzavir. This is my new baby. I was visiting a friend, and I was driving home from her house. She lives about an hour away. I was driving home from her house, and I was taking the back roads. I had a map pulled up on my phone, but I was stubborn, and I was like, no, I want to take the back roads and see if I can zigzag and find my way home from these back roads I've been driving my whole life, So I drove down this one random back road, and then somewhere out, I didn't even know this one road that I live by goes all the way out to where I was at. And so I went down that road, and so I turned from this one random dirt road onto the road that I had heard of. And no sooner do I drive down this road than I almost drive clear over what I thought was a pile of leaves. Was not, in fact, a pile of leaves. She was laying in the road, looking like a pile of leaves. My tire came inches from this little thing. And then I had a bad feeling when I passed her, so I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw this pile of leaves pop its head up and slither on into the ditch. So, me personally, I would not have been able to live with myself if I did not at least try to look for her. Even though I had no intentions of getting another cat, I would have felt like such a piece of shit if I had left her behind. So, after I want to say probably almost like a half an hour, I caught her. And I was going to take her because I was parked right in front of a farmhouse. And I had thought originally maybe this is where she lives. There were no animals on this entire farm. It was an out of operation farmhouse. Probably some older people live there. There's not a single animal in sight. And then I looked at her, realizing that she's so emaciated, I can feel every single one of her bones. And she also has a botfly right in the center of her throat. So I'm like, okay, even if you did belong to this farm, you don't anymore. So I took her home. And yeah, the rest is history. Now she's just living her best life. Her name is Tansy. Is it your name? And yeah, you can't even tell where she had that botfly anymore. I mean, it was right here. And now all her fur is back. Tansy bear, Tansy bear. And she's such a clingy girl first thing in the mornings. Okay, anyways, cat update aside, and non-existent supernatural book update aside, I did start another book last night. I did start this last night, and I started Legends and Lattes by Travis Baltrey on audio, and so far I'm on chapter 12, page 105. This is really cute so far. This is actually super cute. Basically, it's about this orc named Viv. Her name is Viv, right? Yeah. She's a battle orc named Viv. She doesn't feel like all the bloodshed and chaos anymore. She just wants to settle down. And she fell in love with coffee in a neighboring city and decides she wants to open up her own coffee shop. So she enlists this help of, I believe he was called a hob, to help her restore this shop that she buys. And then she hires a succubus to help her, run the shop. And it's just really cute so far. I love how they're going about it. And yeah, I don't have very much left in the audiobook. It says, I believe I have like less than 3.5 hours left, because I'll probably bump it up one more speed now that I'm used to the story and the characters. But yeah, so that's my update. Fancy bear, fancy bear. Fancy bear, fancy bear. Look at the mushy baby. What's the matter with the Minnie Mouse? Oh, Tansy's about to end the video. I will check in with you guys once I finish my book. Hello. So it is currently 12:31 on Monday, September 30th. So this is probably going to be the end of this vlog. We're starting a new week. The final update being that I did finish Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This was so freaking cute and wholesome. I listened to this on audio. I started this on, I want to say like Saturday. It's Monday now. So it was a fairly quick read. It would have been quicker if I wasn't sick one of those days, but but I did finish this. I finished most of it last night, but I still had the like 2 chapters, an epilogue, and then there's a bonus chapter, which is kind of, in my opinion, like the prequel of it all. So that was all I had to finish today, and I really freaking love this. I actually think I'm going to settle on giving it a 5. And I kind of have to, again, look at 5-star reads in a different way, because like people are so, I don't know, there's a very, it's either people give out too many 5-star reads or people rarely give them out. And I feel like it doesn't need to be that deep. If you enjoyed the book to a certain extent, it does not need to be the most well-written piece of literature or like, gobsmacking writing or just in general. It just has to be based on how much you enjoyed it. And I've always said that, but I'm saying it again. So, because I was trying to justify it in my head. I'm like, okay, how do I rate this book? And then I was thinking, I'm like, well, I really liked practically everything about it. So in that regard, it gets a 5 stars. But then like, I think I overthink things too much. So then when I think about other 5-star books, I'm like, well, this doesn't really hold up to that. But that doesn't mean it's not a 5-star book. So with that being said, I'm giving this a 5 stars. And this was just super cute. I ended up falling in love with all of the side characters. The way that this book just came together was so... The only word for it is just wholesome as hell. This was so cute. The Dire Cat. Thimble, the baker. Oh my god. So freaking cute. The way that this is really just... The found family trope is really strong here, and I loved it. It was just about that. It's about finding yourself. It's about finding the people that love you even when you can't love yourself or when you're not a lovable person. And I feel like that is very significant, Like, you're not always going to be the perfect person that everybody loves, and part of life is finding your tribe that loves you anyway, even when you kind of suck. So thank you to those people that stick with us when those times are relevant. And I just really loved it so much. And yes, this was the prequel story. The bonus chapter was a prequel, which makes so much sense. But yeah. And then I saw that this book has a sequel. I was on Book Outlet, saw that, so I'm definitely going to be picking up the sequel as soon as I'm able to. That was a reading vlog. I think... Did I finish? I know I finished at least 2 books. I can't remember if I finished the 3rd on this vlog, but I also read My Father's Eyes, My Mother's Rage, a poetry collection. I'm just not 100% sure when I started, when I finished it. And then I did have a couple other books, but as I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, this one I pulled out of my spooky reading jar. This one's super short, so if I'm planning on doing a readathon, I would rather save my spooky jar picks, especially the short ones, for the readathon. So I'm like, I'm not going to peer pressure myself into finishing all these books that I had picked out in one reading vlog. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys have any questions, if you wanted me to start the next vlog with like a mini Q&A, let me know and leave some comments down below. As usual, I am willing to be pretty open and honest with you guys. If there's something I don't feel like answering, I will just let you know, or I will respond directly to your comment if I don't feel like putting it in the video, or if I don't feel comfortable for any reason. I look forward to seeing you guys next time, to talking to you guys in the comments, and I will see you next time for a new reading video.